It's been a while. I haven't had much time to create new content since I've been working a lot and I got a dog. Say hello to Stella. I've still been riding quite a bit and have managed to work on a few other projects, one of which I'll share with you today. I've been using AXP skid plates since I started riding Enduro, and they're a well-known name in racing. So when they asked me if I was interested in helping develop a skid plate for the Y, I naturally said yes. The stock skid plate from the factory is actually really good. I appreciate Stark's environmental approach, as their skid plate is biodegradable, and from what I've seen and heard, it also holds up pretty well. The downside is that it doesn't protect the linkage, which doesn't suit my riding. It makes it easier to get stuck on obstacles, and I've also taken a few nasty hits on that area, which shortens the lifespan of the bearings. There are only a few skid plates for the Y on the market, but I've seen a couple of other prototypes from different manufacturers. I also examined the one Stark Future uses on the prototype Enduro bike. But in my opinion, if you want better protection, the skid plate from AXP is the absolute best option for your Y right now. Let me explain why. I know there's a carbon fiber version of Stark's skid plate as well as an aluminium one that should be hitting the market soon. Carbon fiber tends to crack under hard impacts from sharp rocks, and metal clings to rocks instead of gliding over them. Both materials are also very rigid, meaning they don't absorb impacts but are instead transferred directly to the bike. HDPE plastic, on the other hand, has completely different properties that counteract these issues. Personally, I prefer skid plates made from this type of material. About a year ago, AXP and I started bouncing some ideas back and forth. Since the bike hadn't been on the market for very long, no major issues had become apparent yet. We based our approach on what we felt needed better protection and discussed this with riders doing everything from classic Enduro to extreme hard Enduro to get their feedback. We considered everything from a modular system that could potentially cover the entire battery to a slimmed down version that mainly covered the underside all the way back to the linkage. Given that this was an electric bike without conventional mainframe, there were additional factors to consider that AXP wasn't used to. For example, we didn't want to risk enclosing the battery with plastic that could potentially fill with mud and, in worst case, overheat the battery. We concluded that we needed good linkage protection, protection for the foot peg mounts, and shielding from impacts beneath the engine case. We agreed on that a separate guard for the engine case will work better than building a bulky solution into the skid plate, and protecting more of the battery was ruled out due to the limiting mounting options, increased weight and higher cost for the consumer. To date, I haven't heard or seen anyone experiencing significant damage to the side of their battery. We are aware of the risk though. The first prototypes were very bulky, more or less box-like, but they served as an excellent testing ground and showed that we were onto something. It took some time for AXP to get hold of a bike, but once one was in the factory, they 3D scanned all necessary parts and began production of the next prototype. We slimmed down the design and made necessary changes to begin testing. Soon I received this prototype in the mail, and it has seen a lot of action. The area where I live is known for its sharp rocks, and whether I've been riding local tracks, free riding or venturing into the forest to climb a mountain, it has survived hit after hit. The plastic shows its better scars, and for some of them I know exactly which hit caused the damage. It's also been interesting to analyze the damage patterns on the skid plate. Some areas are obvious, like the left and right front and underside, which you expect to take the most hits. But I've been surprised by how many impacts the foot peg and linkage guards have taken. We used this feedback to develop the third and final version, and as recently as yesterday I got the finished product in my hands. So, what's in the box? First, we have the AXP Xtrem skid plate for the Stark Y. Then there's a separate engine guard, a linkage guard, foam, mounting hardware and a sticker. The entire kit weighs 1.6 kilograms and is made from 8mm thick HDPE plastic. Compared to the second prototype, the main part of the skid plates now consists of fewer pieces, has a higher front edge, offers more boot clearance, includes the stabilization piece, and has more holes for cooling and drainage. I hope you appreciate the product as much as I do. We also welcome feedback and suggestions on how to make it even better. Thanks for watching.